Hello, welcome back to my channel. We are going to be making a Valentine's card. I figured since I'm alone at the moment and it's quiet, I will do a normal talking over video instead of a voiceover. I'm going to be using the Love You S'more Honeybee stamp set. I'll be using the s'more part, and I've pre-colored, not for this card, but I had stamped and pre-cut some coffee cups I was coloring. I was trying to come up with a card idea, but that's about as far as I got. So I'll be using the s'more, and I need s'more friends like you. And I saw Amy R make a really cute card where she stacked some s'more guys with faces, so I'll be doing that. I'll stamp the faces on after I color them. But yeah, so that inspired me a little bit there. And I'm going to be using these. I labeled this 5 minutes ago just for you, so I don't have to guess what these are called. But I used and I pre-cut a couple things. So I have a card base, and then this piece, we'll talk more about these two in just a minute. I cut this out of the biggest outside in stitched scalloped rectangle stackables. If you see all the different Lawn Fawn ones, you know that they are, a lot of them are very different. There are frames, there are outside in frames that are scalloped. There's many different options. And then there's also like square versions as well as rectangles. So many different choices. That's why these names are so long. So I cut out that piece from this Love Bugs Doodlebug 6x6 paper pad. This one is super cute. I believe there was a new, it better not be this one. My memory is so bad. I think there's probably a new Valentine's. I think it was baking themed, and I feel like I got some, but now I'm not sure. The new Doodlebugs this year. Anyway, this is the one I'm using. I'm using this one here. And then for the inside, because I want like a white backdrop, I'm going to be using my Stitched Rectangle Little Inker Designs dies that I've had forever. They have, I think, a bigger stitching than most Lawn Fawn stitches, so you can see the difference. These are pretty small stitches. Versus, well, I can just show you the two next to each other. Finer stitching, and this one's wider, but they'll be fine together. And then I used the third size in because I couldn't bring myself to cover up so much of the cute background. And the second size down here would have covered up a lot of it. And I want some of these hearts to peek out. So I cut out just white cardstock, which is where we're going to stack our little s'mores guys. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment down here. And then, so I wanted to talk about this background on a normal 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 right now. And I'm going to set this over here for a second. But I'm kind of torn between the look of this, where you can see the white peeking through, because I already have more white going on, you know? So the white peeking through, or trimming down the card on both sides so that it looks more like that corner does, where it's just, this is the card base. So a couple things there. If I do trim it down and it's just going to look like that for the whole card, where the card base, you know, you leave these scallops of this much thinner, not much thinner, but thinner than this cardstock. The scalloped cardstock paper is thinner, and it can bend a lot easier, especially if you're going to put it through the mail or anything. So I thought about that, and I am going to trim this down, but I am going to cut out another one of these shapes in white and mat it so it's got a little more, in the same white cardstock, a little more strength behind it. So that would be a good idea if you wanted to go that route. So I'm going to move our little s'mores off to the side. I've already chosen 2 tri-blend markers because it's easier than trying to come up with a Copic combo, which is bad because I have officially like labeled the ends of all my Chow Copics where you can't see, and so that I would use them more, and I still don't reach for them often. So I need to do that. I know that Copics are not affordable for a lot of people, and the fact that I have so many, I feel like I should be using them, and I don't very often. So I want to work on making good combos that are similar to my tri-blend markers that I like, and I need to have a good like chart of really good go-to Copic combos that I can just reach for, but I haven't gotten that far yet. So I'm going to measure the lines, just the stitching, and so it's about an eighth less than 4 where the stitching is. And I am going to be cutting through 2 pieces of cardstock. I just go over it 4 times so that it works. And then the stitching this way brings us to, see, this is where it gets difficult, but I believe it's 5 1/4, maybe even a little bit less, maybe 5 1/8 actually. I hate this little section on my trimmer because it's not labeled and I have to guess where 5 1/4 is. I've kind of figured it out visually, but it still annoys the crap out of me. So I think it's closer to, I mean, 5 1/8 is right there. So 5 1/8 might be a little bit much. I'll go to this line that I can see instead, and we'll trim it that way instead. So just go over it pretty good since we've got a folded card. So now we have a smaller card, but this is upside down. It will cover that. So now we've got, you know, this background is our only focus and we don't have that white peeking out. So I'm going to die cut another of the largest out of just white cardstock. So I'm going to do that, and I will pause and I will be right back. Okay. And then just a side tip. These are actually pretty clean cut. I do have some Lawn Fawn dies that are better than others, but on some of them you're going to get these little paper hairs. This one's a pretty clean cut. Honestly, I don't really need to clean this one much. A couple months ago, I think at this point, when I was making birthday cards, and I used a smaller one of these, I think it was the next size down, and I was cleaning them, I was using my finger, and I was batch making, so it was a lot, and I paper cut my finger on cardstock, and I didn't make cards for, I don't know, weeks until it healed at all. I can't function with cuts on my hands, or especially my fingers. If it were like here, it wouldn't be that big of a problem, but it's my fingertips and the parts I use, and I hate band-aids and I hate everything about it. And so I didn't craft for a very long time, and I just felt so stupid because I was like, how did I expect not to get paper cut? So now I use the edge of the die. I just hold it like this. You can use a smaller one if you want. You can kind of get in the cracks, and the edge of the die will shave away those little bits. And you can do it without damaging the cardstock as well. Just clean it up. However you want to do that, just don't use your fingertips. I don't recommend it because it makes me sad. And then I can't paint my nails and make them all pretty for you guys. And then I hide in a hole for 4 weeks until it's fully healed. So welcome to my world. Okay. So we are going to just stick these together. I'm just going to use my tape gun if I can get it without bumping you guys. I'm just going to run tape on the bottom piece. Don't need to go over the scallops, just get the main inner rectangle pretty good. I want this to really stick because it's really just for matting purposes. Apparently trying to cut myself again. And then we want to stick these together. So you want to be careful because it's going to stick down. Just line up one side really good and hope that the rest of it goes down well. So it's got a little bit, I know it's not glued. You could always use liquid glue and cover the scallops if you'd like as well. But now it's got a little bit of a stronger base. And then we're going to stick it to the cardstock. I'm going to, again, put the tape runner onto my base because this piece is smaller, obviously. So we're going to stick that, but we're going to turn this over, take our tape runnered, glued side, make sure that this is right side up, and then I'm going to center it. And you can stand up if that helps at all. If I stand up, I got to move this down. Center it inside those stitches so we know that none of it will peek out. And then you've got an adorable card base. So there's that. We'll start with that part. So I'm going to set that aside. And then we'll color our 4 s'mores guys. And then I will just use the die cut to cut those out off camera. I'm going to zoom in. And then I'll be using tan shades and tan blend. They just happen to be the, you know, each other's counterparts. But those were the colors that I think would look good for a s'mores blend. So we're going to start with the dark end of tan shades, and just kind of flick the dark end in. Let's see, graham cracker. Oh, graham crackers are not that dark. The chocolate should be this dark. Graham cracker. What's a good graham cracker color? Graham cracker, chocolate s'more. We'll do it this way. And then we will use earth brown shades for the chocolate because I don't want to stamp another s'more. It already wasn't stamping kind of the way I wanted it to. I don't know if it's, I just need to open a new ink pad or not. I'm just going to start all of these and then we'll finish them. I had put up a question on Instagram for if I had a Q&A video, if you had questions. And while I do remember some of them, I took a screenshot, but I don't have that right now because I am filming on my phone. However, I do know one of the questions. This is the mid, which sometimes on these tri-blends would appear darker than the dark, which is only slightly irritating, but that's fine. I kind of just take the light and blend it all together in the end anyway. One of the questions, they ranged from like favorite ink to if you could only have 3 stamp sets for the rest of your life, what would you choose? Which hurts my brain because I don't want to have to choose. But I think as a like a favorite go-to set, the Lawn Fawn Winter Fairy set. There's like a Fairy Friends and then I think Winter Fairy Friends. And I just love everything about it. I love fairies. My mom has a little fairy village in her backyard. So my love of fairies probably comes from her. But it's just so cute. And the wintry one is just even cuter than the original. So the Winter Fairy Friends I think would be my favorite. For the ink, I've been using the MFT Extreme Black Hybrid, and honestly I don't think there's a perfect ink out there. I haven't tried every single one of them. I went from, 9 years of using Memento Tuxedo Black to trying Lawn Fawn Jet Black, and then something, I think maybe it was just getting too dry or something. I don't know what it was. I didn't re-ink it or anything. I probably just bought 2 pads like I did when I bought the MFT. I've been liking the MFT a lot, but there are days where it doesn't stamp as crisply as I would like, and it could be the stamp, it could be the ink. That's why I'm not necessarily blaming the ink. Let's do our chocolate layer. I know my graham crackers are a little dark, but the chocolate will be darker. So hopefully that will help. So if you have an ink that is not Lawn Fawn Jet Black or the one I just showed you, my favorite things, that you swear by, let me know down below. I am not supposed to be buying anything this year, so I probably won't buy what you recommend. I'll use what I have, at least this year. That does not include any gift cards I am given for holidays, birthdays, whether I requested the gift card or not. Just kidding. My only issue with this earth brown, is it earth brown? Earth brown shades is that it's kind of, I might be off camera here, sorry. It's kind of the same color. It doesn't blend quite like, you know, I don't know, like the lightest might be the darkest. So it's a little confusing. But we are going to use Tan Blend for the marshmallow. If I were roasting vegan marshmallows on a fire, this is probably the color I would go for. If you do not know what is in regular marshmallows, that makes them not vegan or even really vegetarian, let's be honest. I don't recommend looking it up, but you're welcome to if you would like. Okay. That being said, if I want some, Trader Joe's has great vegan marshmallows. And usually only during like Christmassy time. Could be a winter thing. I just haven't been in a little bit, but I should visit them soon. Okay. So hopefully this will bring these together a little better. Some of these could be getting a little dry. They are limited and there are 3 colors and 1 marker. I think I have 2, yeah, I have 2 Tan Blends because I bought a few backups and this is my new one too. I think I'll switch to it. I put Harry Potter washi tape on the new one. Yeah, this one's got a little more ink in it. I bought backups of the ones I was using a lot. And I did a summer card swap where I used this Tan Blend because I had a sand castle in the card. And I used the marker a lot. So I ended up getting a backup for it because I didn't want it to run out. I have a backup of like the dark red blend and the violet. I can't remember the others. So I'm going to zoom out. We've got also this piece here. I'm going to stamp these guys with the face. There's a little cute eyes and mouth situation. And I will use one of my tiny Lawn Fawn blocks to do so. And then I will die cut them out and then we can stack them. We will give all of them a face because they are all alive while I get ink all over my fingers. Okay, very cute. And then also, and I think I might do this part now. I'm going to do this in the Mini Misty, which I moved even farther away from myself because I may want to stamp it more than once, but I'm going to put it in the bottom right corner. And I think I can get it over about that far. I'm hoping I can maybe stamp these guys. I might have to stack them above it. I'm not quite sure. I do like it in the bottom right though, so we're just gonna make this work. So I can bring that pretty far down. Come on, don't stick to me. Okay. So we'll pick it up there, adjust that, and make sure it's in the corner. I hadn't cleaned the stamp or stamped it off yet, so it's fresh out of the stamp, fresh out of the package. So you can see it's kind of not filled in very well. So I'll usually give these 2, if not 3 good stamps, hoping it's still lined up well and still not filled in too great. So we will do it a 3rd time. And that looks a lot better. Much darker on that one. So I will zoom out. I'm going to clean that stamp and put it away really quick. And then I'm going to cut these guys out and we will be right back. All right, so I cut those guys out using my mini die cutter. I would also like to point out that honeybee dies are already apart when you get them. You do not have to cut them apart, and I need every single company to do that because I use wire cutters to cut everything else apart, every company that comes connected, and it's very dangerous. If you're not doing it very, very, very carefully in a chamber of nothing, then pieces not only go flying and you don't know where they go, but they also end up sticking like in my skin and I start bleeding. So I need every company to just pay a little extra and get the dies that are apart, because people are either going to buy the dies or they're going to buy a scan and cut. And I think that should be like the standard. As for quality of dies, I don't know. I feel like these are a little thinner than, like, let's say Lawn Fawn, but they work. They work great, and I didn't have to cut them apart. So, just going to throw that out there. I think I want, well, I think this is going to get mailed, and I don't want to make it too poofy. I would probably put this up on foam, but I think I'm going to make it flat. Also, I've noticed that everything I raise up on foam after it goes through the mail, if someone takes a picture of it or sends me a picture, I mean, I don't take too much offense because it's really the fact that it went through the mail's fault and not my fault. But in lieu of using like fun foam to cover the entire background, I use foam tape. It's just gonna look like that after it goes through the mail. So I prefer to sometimes just put flat things through the mail so that it can't get too wrinkled. So this is kind of what I was thinking of, like it should be a higher stack. I only have 4 of them, but I wanted to start it on the left side. I could start it up above, but I'm not sure because now I've got some empty space that I'm not sure what to do with. I think maybe I'll do like this trail of hearts. This is what happens when I don't copy someone else's card, by the way, or plan very well. So I think I'll do these kind of like floating up, maybe. We'll get a pink color, but we'll figure out how we want to get these guys sorted. I will use a handy dandy glue. If you haven't seen it, I made a video based on someone's advice on how to unclog your glues, only because I have a million of these things. I have like 5 in front of me right now. How to unclog it forever, but it also, some of it is using it properly and putting it away properly. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I have a video, a few videos down. I'm going to get a tissue ready. How to clean them to begin with, but then how to use them going forward so that they will always be ready to use and not clogged, because I'm sure everyone is tired of clogged glue. You do have to put a little work in the beginning, depending on how many bottles you have, like me. But it's definitely worth it. It's one of those things that I do not regret, obviously, because I want to be able to just reach for any of my glues. And I have several because I used to do card classes before COVID. So that's why there are so many bottles. I like to keep them unclogged. And if I ever do classes again, I would like them to stay unclogged, because instead of having people share glue, I was making sure everyone who came had their own, basically, which is fine. It's easier that way. And these are a little overlapped on each other, but the glue should hold them just fine. And I'll also do some accents with my white pen. In her video, Amy had talked about why she uses the Jelly Roll 10. And I very much agree. I have a number of 8s, but I believe I only have one 10, and I've officially switched to a 10 because it's a much better thickness, and it's always ready, and the 8 just seems to be too thin in general. So basically you're going to tap your glue. You want to make sure you're squeezing. You can clean it off as you go. Squeezing air out before you put your pin back in. And then you can be sure that there won't be glue in the funnel that's about to clog it. I usually start my marker on, or not my marker, my pen on something else before I do any accents. I think I want to give these guys cheeks too. I have to make sure I don't put my hand in any, let's do this over here, my hand on any of them. I always tend to smear. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for this last bit, because I will smear what I've just done unless I am very careful. You can put little accents. You don't want to overdo it, but you don't want to underdo it either. So that one has some in the chocolate. We'll go over here for that one. Okay, that should be plenty. And then I'm going to take, I think I generally use RV10 Copic to make little cheekies. Hopefully you just hold the Copic in place a couple times to get a good pink circle And since Copics behave the way that they do, this is a very long video. This is why I speed up and do voiceovers normally, but I wanted to be able to talk to you guys today so you could hear my thought process and some other things. It's like taking a clear Copic to clear out the color of the spot you're doing that on. So the colors are going to behave that way anyway. So it will clear out that tan color to leave the pink in there. And then what I like doing for cheeks, just got to get that pen open, is putting a little dot above the pink. Dots for cheeks. That's pretty cute. Before this video gets too long and makes me break it into 2 pieces, I'm going to reach for my angel pink again, like I did on the last one, for the hearts. And without messing up my white accents, I'm just going to stamp kind of like this, just heading up to the top. I think that's a good filler. I could probably use one more s'more guy, but that's okay. I think this is pretty cute. I'm trying to think how much he would probably come off of it. I don't know. I feel like I need one more s'more guy, but I think I'll end the video here. And if I add one, I add one. I do want to fill in these hearts because I bought this specifically for Valentine's Day. Sherbet Shimmer Nouveau Glitter Drops. I almost want to fill in. Whoa, buddy. Let's clean that up. That's not where you were supposed to go. Maybe fill in these hearts. This could be a challenge that I wasn't sure I needed, and I probably could have used enamel dots for it. And now there's glue all over my tweezers. I'm going to fill this in and I'll be right back. Okay, so I filled all those in only because I figured it would take a little bit longer, and I'm not sure when this video will cut me off, but I think that turned out really cute. I don't know if I'll add another s'more guy. I really haven't decided. I may, but there you go. Yeah, another Valentine. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't seen the video before this, it is the beginning of a 20 video hop, and if you comment on every video, you can be in the drawing for the grand prize, which is posted on my Instagram. I will link that down below. It's 3 Lawn Fawn sets and 1 mini, normal size sets 3, and then a mini set from recent-ish releases. And it's open internationally. I don't know if I said that. But yeah, the video before this, you'll see a big thumbnail that says Valentine's YouTube Hop. So go watch that and do all the commenting. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.